Hello friends, I hope you are all doing well. Vicky and Alban are joining me for a casual dinner tonight. So I am going to make penne with peas, parsley, bacon, and mint. It's one of my all-time favorite springtime pasta dishes. Not that it feels anything like spring today. We've already had a hailstorm this morning, and now it's just windy and cold outside. But before we can start cooking, I need to go to the farm store because I have to buy parsley and mint for tonight's dinner. I also need to buy seed starting mix because I want to plant some basil seeds indoors today. I also need to buy compost for the herb garden so I can top off the raised beds there. Oh, and just had a thought. I should also make garlic bread for tonight's dinner. That will be fun. So please hang out with me today. I think we will have a good time together. Despite today's weather, spring is in full swing here at my local farm store. I love seeing all of the seedlings for sale, although I won't buy any today. I'm here for seed starting mix, compost, and bags of fresh parsley and mint. We are home again, and I just chucked all of the compost we bought over the herb garden fence, so that will be ready to go. Now, when I have guests for dinner, I like to do as much prep work ahead of time as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up my parsley and my mint. And I've just washed this and dried it fairly well. And I'm doing a lot of parsley because I need it for both the penne pasta dish and the garlic bread. And I will post the recipe for the penne with parsley. It's a hard title, okay? I will post the recipe for the penne with peas, parsley, bacon, and mint in the description box below. I save all of my parsley stems for veggie stock. I just put them in a bag and then put the bag in the freezer. I do the same with all of my onion peels and onion scraps and parsnips and, well, you name it. Whatever tastes good in vegetable stock, I save it. We can put the parsley in a storage container. I like to add a paper towel just to absorb any moisture. And then on with the lid. Then we can chop up the mint. Oh, I love the smell of fresh mint. It's the scent of summer. And the mint can go in this container to the refrigerator. And next, we can chop up some bacon for the pasta dish. Now, my bacon was in the freezer just to make it easy to cut. I'm going to cut the bacon crosswise into lardon. And the bacon can go in here until it's time to cook it. I didn't cut that very well. And once again to the refrigerator, and then I'm going to get my workstation cleaned up and we can plant some basil seeds. So I have my seed starting gear here. Yeah, I wanted to plant my basil seeds the other day, and then I realized I was out of seed starting mix. So it's good to have this in stock once again. Basil is a hot weather crop, so it's good for me to start it indoors now. Need water. I'm just massaging this seed starting mix because it was rather dry. Okay, we are nice and moist here. This is my favorite seed starting tray. It's made by Burpee, and I buy it at my local odd lot type store. But you can get it online if you like. I can put a link in the description below. It's great because it is entirely reusable. You could even put this in the dishwasher. I had been using the very thin plastic, I think they're called Jiffy seed starting trays, but they tend to fall apart after one season. So although they claim to be reusable, they really are not. But these Burpee trays are definitely reusable. Now this tray holds 16 cells. I don't think I need 16 basil plants, but I can always give half of them to my friend Vicky. She might like to have basil in her garden. These seeds are tiny, so I'm going to try to do one in each. And there we are, 16 basil seeds planted. And I just need to top them off with a little more seed starting mix. Better make sure these don't need light to germinate. Nope, cover with a 1/4 inch of fine soil. You know, snapdragons require light to germinate. And you and I have planted a lot of snapdragons. And I hope they do all right. Some are growing, some, well, they all germinated, but some seem to have stalled. They germinated and then just, well, they haven't budged in weeks. So I hope they make it, because I am looking forward to having snapdragons and other flowers in my garden this summer. The celery and parsley and, well, just about everything else that you and I planted together. Oh, onions, those are all thriving. Okay, and I like to finish with just a tiny amount of vermiculite. Vermiculite has been a game changer for me because it stops algae from growing on the surface of the seed starting mix. And I just apply a tiny amount of it. And this tray has another container underneath it so that we can water from the bottom. I'm going to bring this into the grow room and then I'm going to clean this up, and we need to get started on some outdoor projects. Just pulling up the irrigation here. I need a shovel. So I want to dig in some of this beautiful straw that we put down last fall. That's lavender over here. This garden bed is teeming with worms. Worms are a great indicator of soil fertility. I'm amending this bed with both compost and composted manure. Mix these together. It's very nice stuff. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have had hail and wind and cold. We even had rain, and now we have some sun. And I have to say, that sunshine feels really good on my face. I think I'm only going to amend one of these beds today. Right now, I want to uncover the chives in a bed over here. This is one of my favorite crops, common chive. I use it to make chive pesto at least a couple of times each year. And if you have never had chive pesto, you must. Super delicious. There, now you little babies can breathe. And I think that's all the outdoor gardening we're going to do today, because I have many other projects to attend to. Plus, I want to get started on dinner. Before we head back to the kitchen, I want to show you the forsythia in my front yard. The shrub burst into gorgeous yellow bloom in the course of just 1 week. In the comments below, let me know if spring has sprung in your neck of the woods. Now, I know I mentioned it when we were outside, but I just want to reiterate how wonderful it felt to be out in some sunshine. We've had a very long, very brutal winter, followed by what seems like endless days of rain. So now I'm preparing the garlic bread, and I have a big pot of water coming to a boil behind me. That's for the penne. And for the garlic bread, I need 1 cup of butter. And I'm going to melt the butter on the stovetop. And to the butter, I'm going to add 4 of my garlic pucks, which is about the equivalent of 4 teaspoons of fresh minced garlic. These garlic pucks are from my own homegrown garlic. And these can go back to the freezer. All right, my butter has melted and my garlic has thawed and it's blended into the butter. So now I can add the parsley. Just making sure that this is the parsley and not the mint. And add a nice big bunch of it. And just give this a stir. And that's my oven. It has preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Smells just wonderful. And I need a spoon and my pastry brush. And my baking tray. I think I will only do one of these halves of a loaf of French bread. It's only 3 of us for dinner. You just spoon this over the top. Looks beautiful already. And any leftover mixture here can be saved and refrigerated and used for another loaf of garlic bread. And I want to brush this bread with my pastry brush just to make sure every bit of bread is covered with the garlicky butter mixture. And then, looking for my grater here to gild this lily, I'm going to top it with some Asiago cheese. You could use Parmesan cheese here. Now, I'm going to set this aside for a moment, and then shortly before serving time, I will pop this into the 350-degree oven for about 5 minutes, and then under the broiler for 1 or 2 minutes, just to make sure the bread turns golden brown. And you can go in this bowl and be enjoyed garlic bread maybe tomorrow night. So I have just got out all of my ingredients for the penne with peas, parsley, bacon, and mint. And the first thing I need to do is brown and crisp the bacon. And I'm using my very large skillet here because I'm doubling the recipe. This way I can have leftovers, maybe, to enjoy tomorrow. I want to add a little olive oil to this bacon, just for flavor. My bacon is sizzling away, but it's not quite brown yet. It's certainly not crisp. So I'm going to take this time to measure out my cream. Yes, this dish contains heavy cream. It's what thickens the sauce. I also have Parmesan cheese here, grated. I have my peas, which are frozen, and my parsley and mint. And Italian seasoning. My bacon has turned crisp, so now I can add the cream, and I'm going to let it bubble and reduce for about 1 minute. I have only cooked this pasta to the al dente stage, or even slightly less than al dente, because I'm going to keep this dish warm in a 200-degree oven while I wait for Vicky and Alban to arrive. And here is my beautiful, beautiful sauce. Now I'm going to add the penne. And if I think the mixture is too thick, I will simply thin it out. I'm getting a pasta facial here. I will simply thin it out with a little of the starchy pasta water. And we can put you away. And now stir. I really hope you will try this pasta dish. Again, it's like my all-time springtime favorite, with the peas and the parsley and the mint and the bacon. It's smoky with the bacon, and it's just utterly delicious. And just before serving this great beauty, I will toss in a good handful or two of the grated Parmesan cheese. For now, I want to cover the pot and pop it into the 200-degree Fahrenheit oven just so that the pasta stays warm. Oh, this is heavy. I don't need gloves. Yes, I do. In you go. And my upper oven is preheated for the garlic bread. I think you will love this simple spring pasta dinner as much as my friends and I did. It's a good thing that I doubled the recipe. Vicky had seconds, while Alban and I each enjoyed thirds. I'll be back with another video on Friday. Until then, please treat yourself very well, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye for now, friends.